So I've known you for a while, Lindsay, and there seems doubts about your age. How
Will I tell you
are
a
you really?
Will I tell you a story?
Yes,
Because we're both Tasmanians.
yes.
I was born in Emu Bay, Burnie.
Oh, in Burnie.
Yep. And in 1925.
1925.
Yeah. So
I failed at maths.
yeah.
So, oh gosh, now you're going to make me think.
So
Use
that's
my
a lot.
brain.
You don't
1920, what are we?
you don't
Yeah,
have
so
to
you're
work.
100 and bloody.
No, not yet. I haven't
Oh
reached
no.
that.
Oh, 99.
Something like that.
Something like.
Anyway,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, Daryl, you've met Daryl.
Yes, Daryl, yep.
He was on the boat and we're going through papers. Oh, that's my birth certificate. He grabbed it.
Oh, did he?
And from then on, he's been telling people, guess how old he is? So bloody Daryl.
Daryl, he's the
Yeah.
one causing all the rumours.
Yeah.
But, okay, so.
Quite often the people ask me, oh, what's your secret? I say, sex. And
Oh my goodness.
And it stuffs them up completely. They shut up.
Being your age, you must have had to have said goodbye to a lot of friends over the years.
Strangely enough, I can't really remember.
No?
You meet up with so many people. One particularly good friend I had from Victoria, and his wife telephoned me. Dave Asker, he'd be about 15, 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And so she telephoned me that Dave's died. So that's happened.
And what about family? Do you have any?
My family?
Yeah, do you have any kids?
Yep. We had 4, and two boys and 2 girls.
Yeah. Are they still alive?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yep.
Oh, one's just become a grandmother. So,
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
you'd be what? Great?
I don't know.
What is it? Great?
I don't know. That's beyond me.
What has been the biggest change in life that you've seen?
It'd be in the Second World War.
Oh, you're in the Second World War.
Yeah, I was in the army in 1942, and that meant that my education in that time was stuffed for all those years.
So what did you do when you were in the war?
In the Navy, you could join at 17, whereas I was in the Army at 16.
Oh, gosh.
So when I turned 17, the Army came out to my parents' place wanting to know about me.
Yeah.
And they said I was in the Army. And so the Navy, being a senior service, they took me out of the Army. I was still in Army uniform, marched down in dishonour, marched down to the naval depot and enlisted in the Navy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Why did they do that? Why?
because I'd previously signed to join when I turned 17, I could join the forces.
And how long were you in there for?
I got out in 46, I think it was. We were involved in the Pacific War with the Japanese and all that stuff. And I was on 3 different ships, and most of that was routine work where you do convoys, and occasionally had 3 landings. Oh,
Gosh,
yeah,
you would have
yeah.
seen a lot of...
So that, when you said the most important, so that would have influenced my life so much.
yeah.
All those years, finally, what am I going to do with that? So I went back to the college, and
okay.
I finished the 3rd and 4th year in the college. So,
And were you studying anything in particular?
Yeah, in those days.
Art?
Yeah. So, which meant that, of course, that influenced my whole life, I guess. So,
Well, you are
that's
awesome artist.
That's my main income has been from, I guess, although I've done so many other things that...
And do you still paint today?
Recently, I did one not long ago for here, and it was a watercolour. I'm involved with cattle and horses, and because I've been droving and all that stuff.
tell us what Anzac Day means to you.
It's mainly because of being Anzac, my father, and First World War, very much. It's mainly the First World War. And
was your dad in the First World War?
oh, very much, yeah. And as an example is, they're Tasmanian, of course. They're all Tasmanian people. And his brother, Uncle Ken, he lost his leg in Gallipoli, and Anzac is, I'm very conscious of why and what it is. It's not just a glamour day where you wave to people, and it's meaningful.
Do you ever march in it?
This year, I go into Brisbane, and this year I was the only Second World War.
How did you spend Anzac Day this year?
Being on the coast, I joined the RSL at Helensvale. They have their own little ceremony in the early morning.
So when you go to Brisbane, do you have anything at all planned, or
just go and you meet it. They've got organisers, people that tell you where you should go. If you're Army, Navy, Air Force.
Okay, you got your own sections.
And this time I didn't know where or what, and so I finished up asking the police.
Oh, did you?
And they were so good.
Oh, they looked after you?
Oh, completely, yeah.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, they were.
Was there did many people turn out?
There were a big crowd.
So what's it like to get to nearly 100? What does it feel like when not many people?
If it wasn't been for bloody Darryl,
no one would know.
It wouldn't concern me at all. Just act as you do.
Do you? And
it's because of him I'm conscious of my age, because I don't have a birthday and I don't celebrate a birthday.
Don't you?
I don't have one.
You don't celebrate a birthday?
No. Birthdays don't mean anything. Unfortunately, as you get older, you have to do tests to get your driving licence. So that's the disadvantage of getting older.
Getting older.
Yeah. So
it's good though. You can still drive.
What's that, officer?
You can. I wish I could still drive, Lindsay. I haven't drove 17. Oh, what's me is 17, so she was a baby.
The way the traffic is now.
I'm the worst backseat driver in the world.
Yeah, I can
People
understand.
hate getting in the car with me. What age were you when you joined the army?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Was that your real age?
Yeah, but the army didn't know. The army thought I was 18.
So how old did you have to be?
18.
Oh!
Yeah. So,
18?
Yeah.
And you were 16?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I was very active, as you can probably guess.
Did a lot of people?
In fact, the army people, they were moved up to Canungra, then up to New Guinea.
Yeah.
And for some reason or other, I was kept back.
Oh.
Which worried me. And so I was kept back for they put me in the officers' training school.
So why did you join the army?
We were at war. The Japanese, Brisbane, people were leaving Brisbane because of the Japanese invasion. Even down in Melbourne, they were digging trenches in their backyard. They had blackouts where you weren't allowed to have the lights on in the house. Everything was rationed completely. We were at war, and very dangerously at war.
Did you second think it, or you just went, I've got to go and do this, or?
I think it must have been, I have to go, yeah.
Wow.
We were at war, and it was quite dangerous.
Can't even imagine. I can't even.
No, it's hard to imagine.
Imagine what
But
it would have been.
it was extreme.
We're here because of you guys.
Barbara, that's the one I married.
Yeah.
Her father was in charge of the courier mail up here. He moved from there down to Melbourne to protect his family because the Japan Japanese were coming into Brisbane. Even changing street names, road names rather, in case they invaded.
So, Lindsay, what was your worst memory of the war?
Court-martial.
Court-martial. What was that? Did you get in trouble?
A place called Biak,
Yeah.
working with the Americans. Biak was also a landing strip for the aircraft. Down the end of the landing strip was a place where they call the graveyard.
Oh.
And the graveyard was where the wrecked aircraft would be dumped down there. They'd go into the graveyard and get radios and bits and pieces and come back and make things. The coxswain, his name was Gillespie, but he went into the Qantas huts with the Americans and stole electrical stuff and drawers and he put them into a kerosene box. And so I picked him up, not the crew, but I picked up Gillespie.
Yeah.
And took him back. The Americans had their own police force. A word went out to the crew that these police were coming, the American, whatever it was, and they dumped stuff out of portholes and all that sort of thing. They didn't want to be caught with it, but they went straight down to Gillespie's cabin, and this kerosene box full of all this good stuff, was outside his cabin. All the stuff he stole in the box, that had to be taken as evidence. The motorboat had a small deck on the forepart, and they passed the kerosene box down to me to take back with them. I lost my balance and fell into the water and lost all the evidence.
Oh no!
Which meant they're still under suspicion of things. But I had to go. We went down to Port Moresby. Had a big, it's called the Adelaide, a big warship down there, and they had the court-martial with Gillespie, with stealing all the stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to give evidence, and fortunately, Gillespie had typed out for me to memorise what evidence I'd give at the court-martial, and it was so contradictory that it was useless.
When in the Navy, were any of these ships you were on attacked?
Because we were doing convoy, and that would happen. The aircraft, the ship we had, was mainly anti-submarine as well. We had depth charges and that sort of thing.
Gosh.
The one that we think we got, where you get oil and rubbish would float to the surface, and but we couldn't wait because we were escorting ships. So we caught up to the convoy, but I believe the Air Force came out in the morning, and by that time the submarine had surfaced, and they finished it off then. So,
Gosh.
But mainly aircraft. Apparently, while wearing a hearing aid, because the gunnery we had what they call Orlican anti-aircraft guns, and you get constant noise, bang, 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 bang.
Lindsay, which piece of art are you most proud of that you've done?
Portraits I really enjoy.
Yeah.
See, most of my work is illustrations. I don't paint pretty sunsets and all that sort of thing. I like something that's got a story, and I've worked with outback mainly, and particularly with cattle and horses and all that sort of thing.
Lovely.
In Victoria, I did a lot of, every year they had races in the high country where that'd be like the man from Snowy River.
Yes.
And they dressed up like Snowy River.
Oh.
Although they come from that. Working with a portrait, you can, it's not like a photograph. You get to know the
person.
And,
So what do you remember at the end of the war?
We were travelling at that time between Manila and Balikpapan and Borneo. And the word came that we had to change what we were doing and go to Manila. And from Manila, we then had to go to Hong Kong. The reason we were called, because at that time we were on a corvette. And corvette is also a minesweeper. And because the big warships were coming in to sign the peace treaty, we just finished with Manila with MacArthur. He came at Leyte. He came there, and he came ashore 3 times to reenact that he's going to return. Anyway, warships were left outside Hong Kong, and so we had to go in first and sweep and clear the water, the channels and the water, so that the big ships could come in. At Hong Kong, there's a place called Stanley Prison of War internment camp. So there was had European prisoners in there, and it was still in the control of the Japanese. So we had to take them out from.
Oh gosh!
So the war just didn't finish.
You live here in this beautiful place, Hope Island, on your boat. What's the lifestyle like living around here?
Decadent.
Decadent. That's fancy. Decadent. Does that mean that does mean fancy, doesn't it? No.
Yeah,
I think you get led astray around this joint. So, Lindsay, in this era of social media, do you have any merch that you would like to?
Any what?
Merchandise. Do you have any artwork that you would like to sell?
No. There's plenty there, but.
There's plenty there?
And plenty around the place. At the moment, I've got other ideas that I need to work on.
Yep.
And working with wax.
Wax?
Yeah, I use wax quite a bit, modelling. I just don't do painting. I do.
Do you?
I model.
Is that like like the wax museum stuff over in the UK? What's that called?
Oh no, not that.
Madame Tussauds or whatever. I can't draw. The best I could draw would be a bloody stick man.
Well, that keeps us in a job.
True. Yeah. Do you like fish and chips? Yeah. You do? Yeah. Sweet. This wasn't too bad, was it?
Fashion chaps.
Fashion chaps. Do you say potato cake or potato scallop?
Potato cake.
Oh, bloody hell, go you. Not many people do. Do you have any questions for me, Lindsay?
Yes, but that's all in private.
Lindsay Scott, thank you so much for being on my Reggie's F&Cs. And one last thing, can we please have a selfie together?
A what?
A selfie.
What's that?
It's where I take a photo of you and me.
Oh, yeah.
Ready? Like that. You stay there.
Okay.
And I'm going to get you in. You ready?
Yep.
Cheese. I'll do one more, Lindsay. I'll put it on a timer, 3-second timer. Okay.